or no pool? And if I want to put a pool in, what will it do to my property price? And what type of pool should I put in? And what are the costs that we're talking about? So many questions on pools. My name's Jennifer Turberfield with Benchmark Realty, working in Nashville and in Williamson County. And in this video, we're going to do a deep dive on pools. So let's start with the pros. Who wouldn't want their own backyard oasis? You have the privacy, you have the seclusion, you don't need to worry about whether your body's subdivision ready. You can just take a dip in your own private oasis whenever you want. Another plus in Middle Tennessee is that we have the fantastic weather that accommodates the investment in having a pool. So pretty much from May, sometimes even April onwards, you can have your pool open for a solid 6 months. Use it in the evenings, weekends. You can certainly get your money's worth from the amount of times you're going to be able to use it. Another plus is at-home entertainment. You don't need to go out. You can be the party house, have the kids' friends around, have your friends around, just becoming a fantastic backyard for family fun and entertainment. So what about the downsides of having a pool? Now, they mainly come into two categories, but they're fairly big ones. Number one is maintenance, and number two is cost. So regardless of what type of pool you've got, whether you've got a gunite pool, a vinyl pool, or a liner pool, you are going to have to ensure that for the whole time the pool is open, the pool is sanitized and healthy for people to take a dip. So if you outsource that to a pool maintenance company, you get rid of the headache and they do all the water testing and the balancing and the chemicals and all of that, but it's going to be expensive. I mean, even if there's no issues, it's going to be between $100 and $200 each time they come out. If you do it yourself, obviously you're going to be able to do it a bit cheaper than that when you just go and buy the chemicals in bulk. But it's going to be a learning curve. You need to learn how to balance your pool, how to adjust the chemicals, and one person is going to have to kind of take on that responsibility. But it's not just the ongoing maintenance. You've got the opening of the pool at the start of the season, and then you've got the closing of the pool at the end of the season, which are a bit more involved. Not only do you have the ongoing maintenance, but you also have some big ticket items if they go wrong. The filter, the pool heater, the pump, those are all fairly expensive items. And consider too, if, for example, which happened to me personally, if you have a liner pool and suddenly you notice that the water level's going down, we actually had to get a scuba diver in that would kind of go round the liner inch by inch to find where the leak was occurring, the multiple places where the leaks were occurring. So we kind of didn't anticipate employing a scuba diver when we bought a house with a pool, but it's a learning curve for sure. Some of the other factors you need to consider when you have a pool are the liability that you have. In terms of insurance, it will impact your homeowner's insurance because you have what is considered an attractive nuisance. So liability wise, you should put signs up. You should also either have the pool fenced or the backyard fenced or whatever your city kind of ordinance is on that. You have to follow strict guidelines to make sure you're in compliance of all safety. You have to obviously be extremely careful around people that can't swim and young children. As long as you've got that liability in your backyard, you have to be very, very careful. So that's something else you need to be mindful of. Interestingly, when people are house hunting, having a pool is actually quite a polarizing factor. And what I mean by that is, I don't think I've ever worked with a family that are indifferent about whether the house has a pool or not. People typically have very strong opinions. Either yes, we want a house with a pool, and that is absolutely a deal breaker. If it doesn't have a pool, we have to have one. Or you have people that do not want a pool, and so you're kind of eliminating all pools on the search criteria because that is just something they are not interested in. Very occasionally you have people that want to put a pool in down the line, so that's something you have to consider, the ability of the property to accommodate a pool down the line. But usually when you're working with home buyers, they know very much whether they want a pool or not. So one of the bigger questions I get relating to pools is from people that already own their house, maybe past clients of mine, and they call me up and say, hey, what are your opinions on us putting in a pool? How will that impact our property value? So typically people say a pool is a negative thing to have. I've heard that said a lot about pools. In Middle Tennessee, I don't think that's the case. I think we have more people looking for homes with pools than we have pools to accommodate that desire. But you do have to be careful and follow some common sense as to, if you're putting in a pool, what type of pool you put in. It needs to be in keeping with the property that you have. For example, if you're kind of in a subdivision and your property value is less than $1 million, maybe you'll put in a vinyl pool or a liner pool. If you start putting in kind of gunite pools with fire pits and sunken seating areas and overflows and rain curtains, if you want to do all that for your family's pleasure, then obviously that's fine, but you're probably not going to recoup that massive amount of investment. If you're talking about a property that is multiple millions, then you need to put in a gunite pool with a spa and some of these extra features that people anticipate at that price point. So make sure that whatever you put in is in keeping with the home and the neighborhood that you're already in order to maximize the money that you get back. From my experience of working with buyers and sellers, if you're a homeowner contemplating whether you should put a pool in or not, I'd like to make a suggestion. Don't put in a pool, but put in a spa. So this ticks the boxes of having your own outdoor oasis, your own kind of private body of water that you, your friends, your family can enjoy whenever you want without traveling. You still become the entertainment mecca, but it is easier to manage as an ongoing basis. You can also enjoy it all year round, and it's less cost to put it in. So you can either kind of go for the concrete pad that you have put down, and then the hot tub that's already preformed from kind of Lowe's or Home Depot, kind of lowered in place. Or there's some really souped up versions of that are 4 times the size. They have kind of an exercise equipment mechanism built in, so you can get your kind of exercise component if that's important to you, without having the physical space taken up from having a pool. Or you could go all out if you're in a kind of super high-end house and have a pool company come in to create your own kind of gunite pool in your yard that's put in just like a pool would be, except it's a spa rather than a pool. So lots of options there. I think that works better than having a pool. Everyone loves a spa. One final thing to say, if you are a buyer shopping for homes with pools, make sure you get a pool inspector. And I'm not talking about the home inspector that just has a look at the pool and see if it's okay. I'm talking about getting a pool company that comes out and does their own pool inspection. So these can be quite expensive. They're usually somewhere between $600 and $900. But a lot of the equipment with a pool, whether it's the pool heater, the filter, the pump, the liner, these are expensive items, and you want to make sure they're in good working order before you proceed with your purchase of the property. Now, what happens if it's winter and the pool's been winterized? That's a problem. I would get them to unwinterize it so you can do all your inspections. And if they won't do that, then you need to put something into the contract where money is held in escrow in case when the pool opens again that there's things that you uncover. But the easiest thing to do is get them to unwinterize the pool so you can complete your tests and be satisfied before you move on. And if you're looking in the Nashville and Williamson County area and you'd like a house with a pool, let me know. We can go house hunting. Thanks. Have a great day.